Hi guys, I'm Lunestia and I am a fantasy illustrator. I'm a creator of OCs and I love playing Dungeons and Dragons. Today's illustration will be a long-running series of character cards from my comic The Elements of Luna. I'm excited to say that this is the first speed paint video of the bunch, and that being my title character, Luna. So we're going to start into what this video, and that is work smarter, not harder. So while learning the basics and the fundamentals of art is important, once learned, you'll discover what I like to call our shortcuts. This is to help you, and I said it before, work smarter, not harder, to help prevent future injuries on your hand, your wrist, your arm, and to know what your limits are when you're working with your creative works. You don't want to overwork yourself or end up doing so much that you just burn out. So first things first, these shortcuts are not the same as copying or tracing pre-existing work. Doing that is plagiarism and a whole different topic to talk about for another video. And since I use Clip Studio Paint for the PC, Windows, I'm going to be sharing my knowledge and experience from my years using the digital art program. Also, I'm just not sponsored by Clip Studio Paint. I just really enjoy the program and the features that it has since I've been using it for a long time. But I wouldn't mind being sponsored by them and making more videos since I use the program all the time. That's like my main source of program, 24/7, 365 days in a year. It's really an amazing program. Anyways, let's get back to the topic. Today we're going to be learning about planning your sketch, references, 3D models, brushes, techniques I've learned, and finally the shortcuts for traditional artists based on my knowledge and my experience. Now, if you have any advice and any other little shortcuts to work smarter, not harder, please share them down in the comments below. I would love to read what you guys discovered and to share and discuss amongst the community to help prevent injuries on your hands, like preventing carpal tunnel, for example. And let's start with planning your sketch. And one little trick that I've learned is that when I begin to plan my newest piece, and that would be doing small thumbnails. Thumbnails are small, loose, and rough sketches used to plan your illustration. They don't have to be perfect detail or have anything that's too rendered. What it is loose, easy, very quick sketches to get the idea out. And what I do is just like make little squares, or sometimes I use a business card as like a little tiny canvas and just sketch in those boxes. And if I'm using my sketchbook, I'll just scan them onto my computer if I find one that I really like. If I'm making thumbnails digitally, I usually make the small boxes with the rectangle tool and then draw in there on my digital canvas in Clip Studio Paint. And when you're happy with those thumbnails, and it could be many of those before you find that perfect sketch that you're looking for your illustration, you can finally actually move over and make it into a bigger illustration. Sometimes what you want to do for your thumbnails is when you scan it and you put it into your digital program, or if it's already digital to begin with, you could just use your transform tool to just scale it up to be bigger to fit into the actual size canvas that you have. Next, we're going to be talking about using photo references, 3D models, the Bodikun or Body-chan figurines. And when you're using these photo references, that's going to be part of your illustration to edit and modify into you do want to make sure you're using those that are copyright free or royalty free images, or use the photos that you take in pictures of yourself from yourself. 3D models are actually also similar to when you use photo references for your work. Find those that are copyright free, royalty free 3D models before using any 3D model that you want to use. Clip Studio Paint offers assets to download and use in your work, and 3D models, backgrounds, props are one of many that Clip Studio Assets have. With Clip Studio Paint Assets, all the materials are free for commercial use, which is actually really good for when you're working on your illustrations. Not all 3D models are what you're looking for when used as reference for your work. Sometimes you have to sketch and make some adjustments over the model in your drawing program. Or look further online for free to use 3D models if you're really specific on what you're looking for. Next are the Bodycoon and the Bodychan. They are physical figurines with stands that you can purchase and use as a reference too. You could pose them and take pictures to import into your drawing program, or you could study for traditional art by just analyzing them right where they're standing and then draw it in your book. Do be careful with the Bodycoon and Bodychans. They're quite small, little small figurines, and with the stands with tiny pieces. Be sure to use them with care because you could damage them if you're reckless with trying to set everything up. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I broke mine. Those weren't cheap. Next are the downloadable brushes, the textures, the images that you can use for your works, which helps a lot if you're looking for a certain pattern, you're looking for a certain brush, etc., to really bring out all the details without hurting yourself or being tedious with all the details. Unless it's something very specific, then you have to do it by hand. What I use in a lot of my works and what makes them so detailed is the use of free to use downloadable brushes, textures, and images, and again, be sure they're copyright free, royalty free, and or you are allowed to use them for commercial use. And once again, I like to go back to Clip Studio Paint Assets as they have plenty of different brushes, textures, images, materials, and more. And some of these brushes are already in the program as well. And just be sure to see, of course, copyright free, commercial use, etc., etc. Also, just to let you guys know, if you're interested in knowing what the assets I've used for my speed paint over here where I'm drawing my character Luna, I will have the links of these assets down below in my description box that I have used, and you guys could download them if you have Clip Studio Paint. That's one of the things that you need because I use Clip Studio Paint. If you have Clip Studio Paint, you can download those assets and use them for your illustrations too. And I'm going to be actually doing that moving forward with the next videos, a list of assets that I've used, so you guys could check them out and use them in your illustrations too. Next are the techniques that I've learned through my years with doing artwork, digital art especially, and more. So I have discovered that using the border effect tool is really easy and useful to create jewelry, engravings, and other difficult details as well, with the black or a color of choice as your outline with the white inside of the lines. You're going to be using that white color later, so you could actually do your coloring underneath. Another example that I've used this border effect tool is in my Winter Love illustration, that is the previous speed paint video before, in using for antlers. And also, before you use the transform tool on the border effect, make sure to merge it in a layer below, and make sure it's a new layer so it can help prevent the outline from going fuzzy instead of clean. Once they're merged together, you can use the transform tool to make any changes and then change the brightness to opacity to get rid of the white color inside the lines for a nice clean line art. I apologize for the traffic outside, but when you live in a city, there's really no such thing as silence. The classic copy and paste tool and the undo and redo tools are really something that everyone should know if you're doing digital art. It helps you a lot on any mistakes or if you need to make a duplicate. Mesh transformation for more precise changes in your work. Make sure the program that you're using has mesh transformation because it could help you do more, like I said before, precise changes. So on your keyboard shortcuts, every program is different, so you have to look up what the keyboard shortcuts are for your drawing program of choice. And also have your line art as a reference layer so you can work on your coloring faster in a new layer below the line art by using the paint bucket tools. And the layer modes also help with shading, lighting, and to help bring the colors to pop. My three favorites are the multiply, the glow dodge, or color dodge depending on what program you're using, and the overlay. Next is the shading and the lighting. For shading, you want to bring your colors into a new folder layer, and in that new layer, clip to a folder layer underneath it and name it shading. Use the paint bucket tool to cover everything in one color for your shading. Put it to the multiply layer tool and lower the opacity. Then you can use your eraser tool to add where the light source is shining onto. Make sure to check your hardness level and adjust it accordingly to if you want to do slow shading or if you want to do soft shading. For lighting, depending on what program you use, it could be either glow dodge or color dodge layer modes. And on that light source, use the glow or color dodge to make the colors be brought out more, giving it the shiny, glowy effect that you would like to try. Also, use white as little dots or small lines to help with the highlighting. Don't use too much white or it can make your illustration look like a plastic doll unless that's an art style you're looking into. Finally are the shortcuts for traditional artists. Having a light pad for tracing your sketch on fresh paper to clean line art is really handy. I own a Huion brand light pad that could change the brightness and is large enough for the standard A4 paper, which I use for my watercolor paintings to have a clean line art from the sketch. Use stickers and washi tape to help with more detailed patterns or if you want to do something fun in your illustration. Be sure to have your scissors and or an X-Acto knife ready to cut out the shapes, especially for the washi tape. And just in case the glue on the side isn't as strong, you may want to actually get a glue stick or have some glue at the ready in case they fall off. Having sparkles in your art is also nice. That's what I use for my For the Time watercolor, and that's glitter. Have water and glue ready by wetting the paper with them combined, and with a brush just dab the glitter from the glitter jar and just tap it onto your project, which helps reduce the amount of glitter that falls over the place and less to clean up later. Pearlescent, metallic, and glow-in-the-dark paints are really fun for really interesting, really cool effects. The shine and the glow helps give your work a nice magical effect to your illustrations. And so far that goes with everything that I know, and I hope you guys are able to learn something new here to continue your creative passions. If you have anything new to add, be sure to share in the comments below. I would love to read and learn from fellow artists too. If you have any advice to share on how to work smarter, not harder. And this video was made by the thanks to my supporter on Patreon, Stick Page. Without his help on Patreon, I would not be sharing my knowledge and making videos for you guys. Consider supporting me on Patreon as it helps me continue making videos, work on my comic, and as rewards, you get high resolution art, discounts on art commissions, coloring pages, and a lot more. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and until next time.